Let's take a look at who you need to add for week number 5 in fantasy football. Fantasy football heads into week 5. I guess so does the NFL. But we're now into bye weeks, so this becomes all the more desperate and all the more necessary, the waiver wire. And unfortunately, it's a rough week at quarterback. There was only one that I could pick out that met the 35% criteria that we have on this program, and it's Sam Darnold. 21% owned with the Seattle Seahawks. He gets a good matchup with Tampa Bay, who have given up the 10th most points to quarterbacks in fantasy football, according to Yahoo. He's coming off of a couple pretty good performances. He has been better than I expected him to be behind an offensive line that is doo-doo. Tampa Bay is going to give him some problems, I think, especially the interior of that offensive line. But if you're desperate, Jordan Love out this week, a couple other ones as well. I think it's a pretty good play at the quarterback spot. We move to wide receiver, and there's a couple to look at, both very deep leagues. But Jalen Tolbert, 4% owned with the Dallas Cowboys. He's had back-to-back 6-target weeks. He's got a good matchup with the Jets and should still see some volume with CeeDee Lamb still injured this week. So I think he is one that is really showing what he can do in this offense for the Cowboys. And the other one, also benefiting from an injury, is Malik Washington, 4% owned with the Miami Dolphins. Probably will see an uptick in volume. He was one of those gadget type, get the ball in his hand sort of players that frustrate me. But I think there's quite a bit of potential there. And so if you're looking for a boom from the Miami Dolphins, I think he has the potential to be that. At running back, it is Woody Marks, 32% owned, a monster game last week. He is firmly number one in the Texans backfield. We have been waiting for a running back to break out like this on the waiver wire. I would, not like 100% of your fab, but we're talking 80-85% of your fab. Go out and pick this guy up. I think you kind of got to at this point, given the scarcity we've had on the waiver wire so far and now going into the bye weeks as well. Another one, 27%, Blake Corum. Not going to be an immediate fill-in replacement, but he's still getting decent volume right now and is the obvious handcuff to Kyren Williams. Still available in 27% of leagues, so a bit of a feeler, get ready for a little bit more, and potentially put yourself in a very good spot to get someone who this offense obviously trusts. And so I think kind of a smart move if you have the luxury of being able to stash some players on your bench. And then Emari Demercado for the Arizona Cardinals, 4% owned. He had I was surprised to look, and it was only 4 touches, but gets an opportunity in the end zone, is a bit more of a speed back, and Benson is obviously the number one in Arizona. But they were cycling in Benson when Connor was out there. Demercado, I think, is going to get a little bit of that work as well in Arizona. So I think he is worth an add, especially in deeper formats. At tight end, Dalton Schultz, 19% owned. He is getting consistent volume with the Houston Texans, going up against a Ravens team that's pretty beat up right now. So one that I think you can exploit with this matchup. I think it's a pretty good one. Tight end has been scarce this season. Schultz can help you out with that. This one's a bit more of a lottery ticket. At just 6% owned, it's Mason Taylor with the New York Jets. 13 targets in the last 2 weeks. I think the Jets and the Cowboys is going to be a bit of a wild shootout this week, so I think there is going to be a lot of high-level opportunities for Mason Taylor to take advantage of a wild, wild day out in Dallas. Then we get to our defenses. Up first, it's the LA Rams. This is a legit good defense that you can hold on to for a while. They're 31% owned, taking on San Francisco. The 49ers are all kinds of banged up with a number of different problems going into their Thursday night game against these Rams. So it's a good opportunity, I think, to take advantage of what could be a bit of a weird week out in San Francisco. And then if we're looking deep, it is the New York Giants facing New Orleans, who battled against Buffalo, but I could see them getting up for that game maybe a little bit more than a home date with the New York Giants. This Giants defense, I think, can stop some things and can certainly give this New Orleans team some problems. So I think there is some value there at just 3% owned. Let me know any other fantasy questions you may have. If you're watching this video on YouTube or Dailymotion, just throw it in the comments down below, and we'll get that to you. answer these questions. Keep them rolling. I have no problem helping out in that way. If you're listening in podcast form, just reach out to me on social media. I am at PrimetimeKlein on Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky.